years in another department called Long Beach Fire Department in California. Long Beach is the 5th largest city in the state of California. We had over 550 firefighters. A little bit bigger than Bainbridge Island. The calls, we had 58,000 calls a year. And the only reason I bring it up, because you never want to bring it where you came from, except in this case, but Long Beach was very proactive when it came to emergency preparedness because they had the 1933 Long Beach earthquake. And because of that, and unfortunately most of us don't learn until we've had it happen at home, they were very proactive in emergency preparedness. And when I say that, is I know our county is extremely active, but the fire department here is not as active as it could be. Okay? And I'm being very honest and transparent with you, and I'll tell you why. In California, what you had was you had emergency management, just like what Phyllis does, and they oversaw the entire city of Long Beach, just like she oversees the entire county. And what we had in Long Beach is you have more than one fire station. So that in a major emergency, if something were to happen, each one of these fire stations becomes their own little city in themselves, in the fact that once the earthquake stops, or once the emergency stops, people pull out of the fire engine, out of the fire station, they assess the building, make sure it's not damaged, and then what they do is they start making reconnaissance or surveying their immediate area, their first-in district, as you call it, to make sure that they can provide service and to kind of be a focal point for the entire area that they serve here. So that you can imagine a city as big as Long Beach with 25 fire stations, you had 25 mini fire departments that were taking care of their own little neighborhood. That was their fire station, that was their neighborhood, and then whether it's wind or wildfires or whatever the case is, they took care of their own. Here on Bainbridge Island, we have one fire station currently. This would change if the levy were to pass, with 4 people. So if you think that in a storm or an earthquake, that these 4 people in this one fire station are going to have a significant impact on providing emergency services, you would be really trying to fool yourself. It's not going to happen. Okay? The goal would be if that we can open up these fire stations, then yes, then we would have at least the ability to go ahead and survey the south side of the island, survey the north side of the island, and utilize the volunteers that happen to live in these areas as part of that core group. But right now, we just have the one fire station. And to be very honest with you, they're probably going to have their hands full just dealing with what's in the downtown corridor, just dealing with propane leaks happening on Winslow, just dealing with island health and rehab, with all those type of things. So you really have to look at taking care of yourselves and your neighbors working together as a community, and that's where Master Neighborhood really does come in. So also, I don't want to take away any of Ron's or Phyllis's information, but the old 3 days is gone. Don't prepare for 3 days anymore for emergency supplies. You need to prepare for a minimum of 7. And one of the key components too is water. People tend not to have enough water. I think textbooks say 1 liter per person. I usually figure 2 liters, because 2 liters of those soda bottles that things come in. And that's what in me and my family we have planned for us, is we have more than enough water. I can be 50% reduction in my fat, 50% reduction in my carbohydrates, but as low as 10% reduction of water, and you can start feeling the physical effects of that. 22% as much as you could end up having death by that. So water is the key. Make sure you have enough water and food for 7 days. We have that at the fire station. Yes.
Why would we need water? What would happen that would interfere with our ability to get water?
Well, it all depends, especially on the island.
Don't you have wells?
In the well or no well?
Well, we're on public water, but
broken mains.
Broken mains.
Broken mains in the ground.
And then the ground stops shaking.
And contamination. But yes, the pumps won't work because of the power grid.
Right.
So that's why for the water. Also, if you want to go and look at getting food supplies, just be a little bit leery of some of these companies. At Station 21, we have enough for not just the firefighters, but also for the firefighters' families. So I went in with a budget, and I had $5,000 to get supplies, including water, we hadn't had, the supplies were outdated. So when I came in as a new chief, I said, okay, we need to get updated supplies and water. So we did. The initial estimates came in at I had $5,000, $15,000 for what we wanted. Well, because some of the people I got online, I looked, and it said you could get these MRIs and start looking closer and closer, and it was like fajitas. You would put hot water and make fajitas with lime sauce. I said, you know what, we don't need fancy stuff, fajitas and lime sauce, or, you know, flambe. Give us the basic carbohydrates and stuff to fill our stomachs so we can go ahead and work. And when we started looking at the basic stuff, you could cut it by a third. We were able to get, with money saved, we spent, I think, like $4,400 to supply not just all the fire department people, but all of our families as well, because we know that if some people are their houses destroyed, they may want to bring their families to the fire station. Otherwise, they won't show up, right? If you're a volunteer and you have to take care of your family first, if you can come to the fire station and we have enough supplies for you and your family, you're going to get here, know your family's secure, so now you can go out in the public and help them. So we were able to save quite a bit of money. So take some time, look into it. You could also just do things with canned goods, as well as protein bars and things like that you could rotate through without having to spend an arm and a leg. Unfortunately, some companies try to take advantage of, you know, people's fears. But
how long is this water? For instance, if you bought a case of water bottles or one of the big water bottles.
There's different ones you can put. Some tablets you can put in. It all depends on. When I was in California, I had a 55-gallon drum in the back of my house, and it was good for 3 years. It was sealed up, and you had to put some chemicals in it. Now, I tell you what I personally do. My family and I, we just simply use the Crystal Springs water, and I rotate it out all the time.
Well, that's what I'm asking. How long?
Not more than a year.
A year is general.
Yeah, anything from the grocery store like this,
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
don't let it sit any more than a year, because what's happening is not the water that's going bad, it's the plastic. You have a deterioration, even if you keep it in the, shadows of something.
A year would be.
I went for more than a year. The cheapest way, still, the very cheapest way to store water is, and if you don't drink it, you're going to... Oh, no. That's not a bad idea. I use my bathtub for a lot. But, those 2-liter Coke bottles, soda pop bottles, if you never drink them, have your friends give you one. What I do in my house is, because I'm much cheaper than you are, besides I have to preach this, I practice what I preach. I take 2-liter bottles, I fill them up I empty them, wash them after the soda pop is gone, and then I fill them up with water with a little bit of Clorox, and I rotate them every 6 months. If I change the clock, I change my fire smoke detectors, I change my clock, and I change my water all on the same day. Everybody gets their bottles. No, because for some reason I've been doing my plastic is usually pretty well, but I still only keep those bottles only a year. Do I keep the plastic?
Okay.
I keep plastic only a year because because of everything we read.
And that's the important thing to do a filter thing. Just write on there with the
I just
Sharpie.
date them.
Just date them like that.
Right.
Otherwise,
My husband has a couple of cases of this, and we rotate it, especially in the summertime. We go through a lot of water versus the winter, obviously. So in the summer, if he close a case for a party or something, we put his case back in. So we're forever rotating our water. But you do need to rotate it because, in the old civil defense days, some of you ladies that, experienced this, some of you men, when I was hired 18 years ago, there was a biggest hot question, how long can I keep my water? Well, it was long after World War II and it should have been gone. There were so many rusted cans of water that people had in their basements, in their air. It might be time for you to consider getting rid of that now. Might I suggest you throw it away? Please don't use that water. So water is, it's not tricky, but people just get lulled into a sense of complacency. And so I suggest this not more than a year, but I really like rotating my water. I really do it out of a 2-liter pop bottle. So, cheap way to do it.
It is. And if it's not an inexpensive way to do it, then you're not probably going to keep it up. Because the minute that you spend $500 to buy this really cool kit,